welcome back to part 2 of my Shabby Crown Chandelier. I think it's coming along pretty well. So here I am measuring a box lid. I found this round paper mache box at, it's actually a chipboard box, at Joann's for $5. I used a coupon, so, I paid half of that. And I wanted to use that as the base of my crown because I want to not only use it like decorative, like a chandelier, but I also want to be able to store some pretty flowers in there, either handmade ones or extras that I have. And I thought that'd be a real pretty way to store them is in the top of my crown. And I thought it would be so pretty peeking out of the top. So my 8-inch box lid here was too big for the lace that I have. So I decided to cut out the top, and I'm leaving probably about a 1/2 inch lip. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I just thought it would be a lot easier to attach it again, to the circle once I make it smaller. So I am just cutting out the circle, and I'm not being precise or anything. I just need it to, be at least somewhat round so that I can wrap the crown around it. And here I am, cutting the pieces or the lid lip here in pieces so that I can shorten it. And then once I shorten it, I'm going to attach it to the circle that I cut out. So I just wanted to make sure that it was the right size for the piece of lace that I have. So I'm just kind of continuing to guesstimate the size that I'm going to need. And I decided here that I was going to cut it into fourths. That way I could manipulate the circle just a little bit easier. I wanted it to be more of a circle than an oval, so I had to cut that again. So I have 4 little pieces here, and then I'm going to attach it to the circle that I cut out. And that way I have just a little kind of like a basket at the top of my crown. Now here I'm using a 12 by 12 sheet of the new Prima Tales of You and Me, and I just love this paper, and it went beautifully with the color pink lace that I have. So I am now attaching the pieces of the circle to pieces of the box lid side of the box to the circle that I created here. And you can see how pretty that paper is. Oh my goodness. Whew, that is such a beautiful collection. If you haven't seen it, you really need to go check it out because it's gorgeous. So I covered both sides with the paper so that when you're looking up at the chandelier, you can see the paper as well as when you are putting stuff into the top of it. So I'm just kind of finagling these to make a circle. It doesn't have to be perfect because I'm going to be wrapping the lace around it and some material and everything. So it's definitely not going to be the perfect circle. If they would have had the perfect diameter of circle box at Joann's, that would have been great. But, sometimes you have to manipulate things. And that was just fine with me because I wanted to use the whole piece of lace. I didn't want to use less, and I didn't want to make the crown any smaller, so I could have, but I just didn't want to because I thought if it's going to be a chandelier, it's got to be noticeable. It's got to be, you know, big enough, and I just wanted that. So here I pulled some fabric from my stash, and it's real pretty. It's this ivory color with a little bit of sparkle, and I just kind of measured a little bit, you know, wider than that lip there, and I'm just attaching it with some hot glue. I didn't worry about, you know, finishing the edges off because I can always finish those off with other pieces of trims. I was trying different pinks fabrics that I had, but nothing looked pretty enough, you know, to go with this paper, and I really wanted the paper to stand out. So I'm just kind of adhering it over to finish off the lip of the box lid here. And I double wrapped it because I just didn't feel like painting the chipboard. I know I was being kind of lazy, but that's okay. So I'm just going to continue to cover that with this fabric, and then I pulled out some trim that I had in my stash again to kind of cover that lip of the box there, that you can still kind of see the raw edge. Again, I chose a neutral color because I wanted the paper and the pink lace to kind of stand out. And as you can see, it's not a perfect circle, but that doesn't really bother me because you're not even going to notice once you get the lace wrapped around it and you get all the goodies dangling from it. You're not even going to be able to tell. So here I pulled out another piece of lace from my stash, and I am just going to, it's not really lace, it's more of a trim, just to kind of finish off the edge there. And I'm using this stuff from my stash because I really want to show off the really cute dainty laces that Doreen included in the kit to dangle from the crown. So I'm kind of saving these trims. And as you can see, the lace wraps perfectly around this, and it looks so awesome. So I'm just attaching the pink lace now that I had stiffened in part 1. So if you didn't see how I did that in part 1, go back and watch that video. And I'm just, it kind of gives that sturdiness without it being rock solid. It gives a very sturdy finish to the lace so that when you attach it here, it's not going to flop over. And I'm kind of wrapping it so that the points on the bottom are hanging just below the lip of the box lid. And I did that, as you can see there, when I'm rolling the lace onto the box lid, that I did that because I want to be able to dangle all sorts of things from this crown. So there it is, the little box lid crown. I think it's so cute. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine that hanging from the ceiling with all the yummies that you see in the background ready to be manipulated and attached? So I will be back with part 3. You guys just wait. And thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you real soon.